I was actually the first governor to deploy National Guard troops down to the southern border to protect our country. Now other states are following our lead, and they're sending their National Guard as well. And make no mistake, an invasion of our country is happening, and our border is a war zone. It is the fault of Joe Biden and his violation of federal law. I was alarmed recently to hear Democrats encouraging Biden to federalize the National Guard under Title X in order to take them away from the control of governors and take away my ability to be their commander-in-chief of the National Guard. I recognized immediately the danger in this threat. If the president took that action to remove me as commander-in-chief of my South Dakota National Guard, it would be the first time in American history that a president paid soldiers to stand down, to not protect our country. So I went to the border the very next day. I offered to bring razor wire there so Texas would know that South Dakota stands with them, and I would load it in my truck and bring it. And I wanted them to know that we will defend our state's rights to protect our people and to protect them from a corrupt federal government. When I came home, I gave a joint address to my legislative session, and that very day our state legislature passed a resolution in support of securing our border and standing with Texas. South Dakota was the very first state legislature in this nation to take such an aggressive action, and I am so proud of them for doing that. This week, I announced that we will be deploying National Guard soldiers to the border for the 5th time. This time, they will be constructing a wall, a barrier to keep those who want to come to this country illegally out, and to stop them from trafficking drugs, from proliferating the sex trafficking of our women and our children, and to stop the inhumanity of Joe Biden's border policies. Now, we have cartel presence right in our state of South Dakota because of that open border. My people are affected by it every day. I will do all I can in South Dakota to bring back peace and stability where Joe Biden has brought destruction and death. We know that China is taking advantage of the situation, that they're funneling military-aged men into our country, and many dangerous criminals and terrorists from other countries who hate us are making their way here too. Some countries are emptying out their prisons and their mental health institutions to send their responsibilities to us to handle. These countries are infiltrating us to destroy us, and they're doing it from the inside. Now, I saw this coming. I was the first governor in the country to ban TikTok for state government devices. I know how China is using that app to collect our data, to spy on our people, and to manipulate our opinions and our ideas. Since then, dozens of states and even the federal government followed my lead and took action. Apparently, Joe Biden gets a pass for his campaign, but whatever, Joe. We need to face the facts. Joe Biden is not fit to be president, and Kamala is no backup plan. They have facilitated communist policies, socialist programs into our American democracy. It is not the government's job to simply do everything for people. It is the job of the government to empower people to do things for themselves. So we have a clear choice. I was one of the first people to endorse Donald J. Trump to be our next president. Last year, when everyone was asking me if I was going to consider running for president, I said no. Why would you run for president if you can't win? I didn't say that to be nice. I said it because it was a fact. No one we knew could beat Donald J. Trump. We've known that for over a year, that he's the only person who had the support to be the Republican nominee. So why did all these other people and candidates get into the race? For themselves? For personal benefit? For a spotlight for a period of time? But it did not and it does not strengthen our country if conservatives are not united enough to recognize that we need to win. We need a fighter. We need someone who doesn't give up, who has never quit on us, so don't you quit on him. President Trump, he broke politics in 2016. He just did. And I think that's a good thing because he's real. He's not perfect. None of us are. But he cares about you. And what I love about him the most is that he doesn't think he's better than you. So luckily, we are not going back to the good old days of the Romneys and the Cheneys. And the Republican Party is much bigger than that now. We are filled with blue-collar workers, many cultures, perspectives, and viewpoints. But most importantly, we all love America. And we realize what a gift that this country is. This country is the greatest experiment in humankind. And if we lose it on our watch, where will we go? Where is there another country that is better or offers us more opportunity? It just doesn't exist. So for me, there is no going back. I'm all in. And you need to be too. We need to look for our leaders outside of the swamp. Nobody turns to D.C. for the solutions. Nothing meaningful gets accomplished here. It is governors who have had to lead. And I have seen governors make bad decisions and devastate their states, and we have seen governors who did the right thing. Now, as you know, for me personally, I slammed my foot on the gas. I promoted freedom, personal responsibility in our Constitution. And today, South Dakotans are happy. They're making more money, they're making decisions for their children's education, they're pursuing the American dream in safe communities. There's a famous quote from Margaret Thatcher where she said, "God needs no faint hearts for his ambassadors." Well, with your help, we can always do more. If America wants to be great again, I'd suggest you take a look at South Dakota and see all that we have achieved, and then vote for President Trump.